Hello Stitchy friends, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Kenzie from Mud Puppy Stitchery. I am a cross-stitch designer, I am a bird nerd and a wildlife lover, and I enjoy doing all of the crafty things. So if you're new, welcome. I hope that you like what you see, and I hope that you'll continue to follow up with me on all of my future videos. And for my current subscribers, thank you so very much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. Hi everyone, I hope you've been well and have had a wonderful September. September for me has truly flown past, and I'm definitely ready for October. Although the only thing that I'm dreading is that it will get dark at 5 p.m. And I don't like to be out and about after dark, and so I become much more of a homebody during the cold season. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you have lots of crafts and hobbies to keep you company. So I'd like to show you what I've been working on for the past month, and I think we should get right into it. The first whip that I worked on was George's Green Frog, and this was designed by me and is actually a freebie chart that you can download yourself on my Patreon page. And I'll make sure to leave a link down below. But as some background information, I have a friend named George who wanted me to design and stitch a frog with a heart as a present for his sister. And I guess they used to have a frog as a pet, so it was something special for both of them. And then once it's finished, it will be turned into a little hanging pillow and gifted to his sister. And so that's why it's called George's Green Frog. I have some really cute green polka dot fabric to put on the back, so that is all set. I just need to find some cute matching trim or maybe do some cording. So we'll see. But this was started on August 27th of this year and is being stitched on an 18 count jade by Picture This Plus Fabrics, which is a really pretty light blue. The last time that I showed this stitch, I only had his back leg done, and since then I was able to get a lot of nice progress outlining him and getting to his face. His little eyes were so much fun to stitch. The heart has been super fun to stitch as well because of the bright pop of color against all of the greens and browns. So it's been a really fun little stitch, and again, if you'd like to stitch it with me, please check out my Patreon link down below and download it for yourself. And if you've decided to stitch it, please tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see it. My next whip that I worked on is called Moggy Manor, and this is by The Blue Flower. And if you've been here before, you'll be very familiar with this piece. So this has been in my whip pile since April of 2023. So it is one of my oldest whips, and I'm eager to get it done this year. So this is being stitched on an 18 count old gold by My Vintage Needle Arts on Etsy. And I love how it just makes the floss colors pop on this fabric. If you're new, I've customized this piece quite a bit by changing all of the cats to dogs. And they're supposed to represent all of the dogs in my life that have passed away. So it's a really nice memorial piece, and you can see all of their names in the middle cartouche right here. I also switched it at the bottom to say all dogs go to heaven instead of Moggy Manor. So I've been working on this all year, and I am so close to a finish. And by the next time you see this, it should be done. So I worked on this portion right here with the red bird and the woodpecker, and worked on some more of the branches and the leaves. I only have 2 hummingbirds and 2 little birds left, and it will be complete. So this is going to be professionally framed, and I'm so excited to get this on my wall because it's turning out absolutely gorgeous. I do need to figure out whether I'd like to put a 25 on there somewhere, maybe like a 2 and a 5 right near the cartouche. So I really do like to date my pieces, especially larger pieces, just because it becomes more of a heritage piece when you do that. And it's turning out really cute, and I'm especially pleased with how the dogs came out. You can see I've got two little cavaliers, and I've got two little miniature poodles, and I've got a Westie at the top. So fun, they're so cute. So that is Moggy Manor by the Blue Flower, and the next time you'll see this one will be a finish. Next, I'd like to show you my newest chart that I designed, and it's called Keel Build Toucans. And this chart was so much fun to design because of the bright colors and because I was really eager to design some sort of colorful tropical bird. A while back when I went to a local Wisconsin zoo, I took pictures of these keel-billed toucans, and that is what inspired the piece. So it is so helpful to have really good reference photos when you're designing, and even better when you've taken them by yourself. So this is a full coverage chart, which I have never designed before, so it's going to be quite a bit of stitching, but it's a lot of block stitching, so that makes it a little bit easier. You can get this chart if you join my Patreon as a paying member, and you'll get access to exclusive charts that won't be available on my Etsy page, at least for another 6 months to a year. So if you're not able to join as a paying member, I totally understand. Please feel free to join as a free member so that you can get access to all of the freebie charts that I'm going to start designing and hopefully releasing once a month. My first freebie chart that I designed was George's Green Frog, and it's available for download right now if you're interested. I'll make sure to leave my Patreon link down below so that you can go and get that freebie. I'm also really excited because my friend Karen the Stitching Owl will be model stitching the toucans for me. So definitely go and check her out and watch her progress on my newest design. And I will link her down below as well. So that is Keel Build Toucans, and I'm really pleased with how this new design turned out, and I hope you enjoy it as well. Before I hop into more of my whips, I'd like to move on to another segment called Wildlife Minute, where I give a little talk on wildlife, biology, animals, or anything that strikes my fancy. So hopefully you'll learn something new today, and it will encourage you to take a deeper dive into the wonders of the natural world. If you're only here for the stitching things, please feel free to skip ahead. Hello, Wildlife Kenzie here, and today I'd like to talk to you about ruby-throated hummingbirds. These gorgeous tiny birds weigh less than a nickel and have a wingspan of 4 to 4.75 inches. The males look quite distinctly different than the females, and one example would be that the males are smaller, and two, that they have a beautiful ruby red throat that changes color depending on what type of light you're in. The juvenile hummingbirds will look like females until they reach adulthood. Hummingbirds can fly incredibly fast, with some being able to fly around 33 miles per hour. They can also fly backwards, forwards, sideways, and, depending on the species, they can hover while moving their wings between 720 to 5,000 times per minute. Their wings are moving incredibly fast, and that's why it creates that hum that you can hear when you're near a hummingbird. There are more than 330 species of hummingbirds that live in North and South America, and ruby-throated hummingbirds are one of the smallest species. Even though they're small, that doesn't mean that they don't have a voracious appetite, with most hummingbirds eating twice their body weight in one day. During nesting season, females will build a small nest around 2 inches across and 1 inch deep, made from thistle or dandelion down. They stick the down together by collecting spider silk and pine resin, creating a sticky base to mold it into a small cup shape suitable for 1 to 3 eggs. Ruby-throated hummingbirds will eat anything from nectar from flowers, sugar water from bird feeders, and sometimes tree sap. They also eat quite a variety of insects, including mosquitoes, gnats, and spiders. They've got an incredibly unique tongue that is forked and edged with fringes that help them to collect more nectar. And they retract their tongues back and forth into the flower up to 13 times per second. Ruby-throated hummingbirds migrate each year to South America, with some flying 600 miles non-stop to their winter destination. In order to do this, they must double their body weight before they migrate in order to survive the trek. Hummingbirds are small, yet incredibly mighty creatures that deserve attention and praise, not only for their beauty, but for their unique qualities that stand out against other bird species. I hope you enjoyed today's Wildlife Minute, and let's head back to the stitching. The next WIP that I worked on was Jane Atkinson from the Scarlet Letter, and this is one of my biggest and most loved projects. I started this last year on Easter and have been mainly working on the flower border. Now, I usually don't stitch samplers, so this is a bit unusual for me, but I am absolutely loving it because of the colors and because of the style of stitching. It's a lot of outlining and filling in, which is very satisfying and has a very distinct look to it. This is being stitched on an 18 count vellum by Picture This Plus Fabrics, which is a light pinky tan color, and it meshes so well with the floss colors. As I do for a lot of my pieces, I am going to be customizing a large amount of it by changing the words on here to song lyrics and changing the Adam and the Eve to more animals. I'm for sure going to be putting a kangaroo on there, and will definitely hide a little mud puppy in there somewhere. But I have got a lot of stitching to get done before I even get to that point, so I can keep thinking about more ideas. But this piece makes me so happy, and it's extremely hard to put down. And this time I worked mainly on this top right corner here, and I have a few more flowers to go before I complete this corner of the piece. So I think I'm going to keep working down the borders, and I might aim to finish the border completely before moving on to the middle portion, but we'll see. This is going to be a long time WIP that you'll be seeing over the next several years, and so I'm going to enjoy stitching on it every single time that I bring it out. I wanted to show you a crochet WIP next, and this will be a gift for a friend of my aunt's who just had a baby. I'm making a really easy baby blanket by just making a granny square bigger and bigger until it's the right size. And then I plan on scallop stitching to nicely finish off the edges. Now I'm just using yarn from my stash, so this is a great stash busting project, but unfortunately I've already run out of both of the orange yarns. So that is the downside of using stash. You have to get a little bit more creative with what you have on hand. But I think it's turning out really pretty so far, and I really hope the recipient likes it. I haven't been working on much crochet recently, and it seems to go in cycles where I get really obsessed with my cross stitching, and that takes a hit, or then vice versa. So it's been a nice mindless project that I can work on while listening to a book, and I've been really enjoying that. Another stitch that I worked on was an older WIP called Pileated and Birch by Chickadee Needleworks on Etsy. I absolutely love this piece, and it is super graphic and bold and definitely an easy stitch. There isn't a cover page, so I'll hold the chart pretty far back, but this is what it looks like. And then this is how far I got. I had the black filled in until about here, and then I finished the rest of the tail. So that is a lot of solid stitching in this one, but that's what makes it so easy to stitch as long as I have an outline to fill in from. I'm a little nervous to put in the white feather marks on the woodpecker, because if you backstitch the white in a little bit crooked, it's going to be really easy to see those mistakes. But I think the white backstitch is really going to make this piece stand out, so it'll definitely be worth it. And then after that, I have the rest of the birch tree to stitch, and then it will be a finish. This is being stitched on an 18 count dusk by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics, and was started in February of 2024. So I think it's about time that I focus on this piece and get it done. The last stitched piece that I worked on was my Spring Green Salt Box by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting, and I was able to almost finish it. And here's what it looks like. So this is being stitched on an 18 count Rustico Aida that you can find at your big box store, and was started on August 6th of this year. Once I finish this line of flowers here, it will be considered a mini finish, because I'm going to be stitching 5 more of these salt boxes right next to each other to create a fun collage. I really love the greens and pinks of this piece, and that's one of my favorite color combinations. And I'll show you the 5 other patterns that I'm going to add to this piece. And since they don't have cover photos, I'll just show you the patterns from a distance. But just so you know, these are free patterns that you can download on Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting website, which I'll make sure to link down below. So first up, we have the Spring Green Salt Box, which is the one I'm stitching. The next one we have is called Pumpkin Blossom Inn. The next one is Katie Ann's Salt Box. The next one is Ophelia Manor on Pumpkin Holler Lane. And then we've got the Strawberry Salt Box. And last but not least, we have the U House. It's got cute little lambs here. I think the next one I'm going to do is Pumpkin Blossom Inn, because I am feeling like stitching a nice little autumn house with cute little pumpkins and crows, and I think that will be really fun. I need to double check before I stitch it whether all of the patterns are the same size or if they're slightly different. I think they're about the same size, but if they're not exactly the same, that might cause some troubles when I'm trying to stack the houses 2 by 3. So we'll see. But this has been a fun little stitch, and I don't often stitch houses, but these are just too cute to not stitch up, especially when they're free patterns. And that is all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like the video, please comment down below, check out my Etsy page, which will also be linked, and please follow me at Mud Puppy Stitchery on Instagram to keep an eye on what I'm doing in between videos. So I appreciate you so very much, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks. So take care, do some bird watching, and stitch all of the things. Bye!